So, Sydney 2000. This game was released in, 2000 as a tie-in with the 2000 Sydney Olympics. It was published by Eidos, yep, that Eidos, and developed by ATD, or Attention to Detail, who is best known for making Lego Racers 2 and nothing else of note. So I start up the game, and we're presented with a few options here. And I decide to go for Olympic mode, because, you know, it's the Olympics. Let's do Olympic mode. And we're presented with these options. It doesn't say what any of these options are, so I have to guess. And I guess that the first one here is 100-meter dash. So let's do 100-meter dash, shall we? Well, not quite. See, Olympic mode has these training mini-games. So I figure, hell, why not? I'll try these training mini-games. And right off the bat, we have a problem. Because it's telling me to press the power buttons. The power buttons? What are the power buttons? I don't have power buttons on my PlayStation controller. So I figure, what the hell? I'll just start and press all of the buttons and see what happens. Nothing. Nothing happens. I don't move anywhere. I'm pressing every button that I can think of, and none of the buttons move me anywhere. So I figure this is one of these games that you have to have the manual for. So I go try to look up the manual. There's no scans for it anywhere that I can find, so here's a game facts. Okay, the game facts says that the power buttons are X and circle. So I start it up again, and I start mashing X and circle, and I am barely moving. I figure maybe I'm doing something wrong, but no, I keep doing it in different ways, and it's worse. So this game just wants you to mash really fucking fast. I found the options menu, and apparently this is medium difficulty. I set it to easy, and it's still this hard. This is me mashing as fast as I can. It barely goes up into the yellow, let alone the green. And I'm not terrible at button mashing. I've been able to get through pretty much every button mashing prompt in any video game that I've ever played on the first try, but this game wants some inhuman speed and stamina. So I still somehow managed to pass the treadmill section. So I figure, you know what, I'll look at some other events, see what they have to offer. And of course, the next one that I do is hurdles. And the first minigame there is skipping, meaning skipping rope. Now I'm supposed to press one of the power buttons for left foot and the other one for right foot. I don't know if it means my right or their right, because the character that I am playing is facing me. But it doesn't really matter because nothing that I do seems to work. I hit the ones on their right, I hit the ones on my right, nothing works. I hit the ones on their left and my left, and it's just not responsive at all. So at this point, I'm thinking, I just want to play the games, just let me play the sports. So I go to arcade mode. This is a mistake. Arcade mode does not teach you how to play the game whatsoever. It assumes that you already know how to play the game. Turns out, I could have been using coaching mode this entire time, because that tells you how to play the games. But I didn't find this out until much, much later. So with the benefit of having recorded this after I had played the games, let me explain all of the sports to you. This is the 100-meter sprint. Literally all you have to do is mash the two buttons. That's it. It's really hard for some reason.
France takes first place. His timing was perfect. He won it with his lead.
Then there's hurdles. You mash the power button and press the action button to jump over the hurdles. Except it never works and you just run into all the hurdles and knock them over and you slow down. There's javelin, which I got to work the best out of all of them. You mash the power buttons and then hit the action button to get the angle of your throw right, and it actually works fairly well.
They threw that one very well.
Excellent. They have to be pleased with that.
Then there's hammer, which I only did successfully once and barely got any distance. You're supposed to mash the power buttons to build up speed and then press the action button to let go at a certain time to get the angle right, but I keep letting go into the cage. Then you've got triple jump. Triple jump is like doing javelin, but you have to get the angle right 3 times. That's it. Then you've got high jump, which only works about 20% of the time. You mash the power buttons to run up, and then you hit the action button to jump, and then you hit it again to raise your legs over the bar. Most of the time, I can't even get over the bar. But sometimes it works perfectly, and I don't know what the difference is. Maybe the timing is just that precise. There's skeet shooting, which is bad, but at least it works for the most part. The aiming controls are terrible, but you press a button to shout, and they throw the skeets, and then you shoot the skeets. You just aim with the D-pad, and you shoot the skeets. And there's no, like, bullet travel. You don't need to lead. You just need the crosshair to be over it, and you press the button, and that's it. Oh yeah, and the guy that they have for skeet shooting has this ridiculous handlebar mustache. It's great. He definitely looks like a guy who would do skeet shooting. There's swimming, which is just the 100-meter sprint, but in the water, and you have to turn around in the middle. Whatever. Next. The 10-meter dive is actually kind of interesting, and it's too bad that there's no real depth to it. You pick a dive to do beforehand, and then you have to do sort of a rhythm game kind of thing, and hit all of the buttons that it tells you to hit on the way down at the right time. The better you do, the more points you get. Super heavyweight weightlifting. The only thing you have to do here is mash the power buttons and then hit the action button at the right time, and you have to continue mashing the power buttons the entire time, which means you have to have 2 hands on the face buttons. The guy that they have for the weightlifting looks almost cartoonish. It's actually kind of funny. Sprint cycling. I don't have any footage of this because the guide said that it was basically just the sprint, but longer. Yeah, no. And then finally, kayaking. It's a slalom thing, and it sucks because you have to stop going forward in order to turn. But then they also want you to go through certain checkpoints backwards. Don't ask why. Yeah, this one sucks. The game as a whole is pretty bad. Most of the events just involve button mashing, and the ones that don't are usually not great either. This game came out in August 2000. The PS2 was already out, and this game looks terrible and has horrific load times, even compared to other games of the time. I'm not sure why they didn't just develop it for the PS2, but this game came out on PlayStation, Windows, and Dreamcast. I could see maybe playing this game if I didn't really have anything else to play, but honestly, it's more of a good way to give yourself RSI. It's pretty boring. The music's alright though. So yeah, let's just move on to the next one. Soul Blade. I don't think I've heard of this one, but should be more interesting at least.
Alley Cat Blues.
Well, we'll be bringing you back here the moment they start fishing the corpses out.